be ready for that. You to be ready for that.
are coming to you from the Egyptian Church of Cacas, Christ Incorporated. This program is for one group of people and one group only, the children of God. You no longer have to wander off the straight path. For those who want to make a difference, for those that want to know the truth to so many unanswered questions, and for those who are tired of the devil taking control over everything in their lives and the lives of their children. This program is set up for those who want to bring God's kingdom to earth. According to the scriptures, Matthew 6:33, but seek ye first the kingdom of God, and his righteousness should be added to you. Therefore, we must take back control of our lives. We, as the Egyptian Church of Cacas, Christ Incorporated, are reaching out to embrace all the children of God. As it states in Psalms 82:6, I have said, ye are gods, and all of ye are the children of the Most High. Next, you will be listening to our pastor, Reverend Dr. Malachi Ziyok, in question and answer.
Who then takes the body parts of bits and pieces? Is it a physical action that someone removes bits and pieces from one of the other six and then gives it to who? And it was referring to the same question.
Robert, I know what you're trying to say. She says is that the average person in here doesn't have 7 bones. But let's say the 5 men that control the Bilderberg Society. Bilderberg Society, 5 men who rule the world. Or Ram Corporation. Each one of them have a clone. Each one of them had that clone produce copy of themselves for body parts. They have special doctors that are responsible for keeping them together. Let's say he has face cancer. If you notice, at one point, his whole face was swelling up and eating away. If anybody knows about terminal cancer, they would not be able to just pull it away and patch him up like that. It doesn't work like that. Once it starts to eat the cells away, that's it. You have a very limited amount of time when it becomes that apparent. Now if you look at it, all of a sudden, this whole big mass is gone. Or had this big roof on his nose of cancer. Then all of a sudden, he disappears for a little while, goes away, goes on the jaw, comes back to, and it's not there. He no longer has a nose problem. So they have ways now. What they're doing is they have cell tips they work with, and they're having a problem with making it public in America because they have to go into the fetus and take cells in the fetus that can rebuild cells. What I'm saying now sounds crazy, but if you go in your computer, you can investigate cell tips, they call them, and it rebuilds cells. So if you have let's say MS, some kind of brain damage, now they have a means by which they can take out of a baby's fetus cells, inject them into your brain cells, it'll cling on and begin to reproduce fresh blood cells, actually regrow cells. But the conflict is every time they do that, they have to eliminate a baby. They have to kill a baby. So now they're trying to take control of Africa and other countries where they don't mind eliminating babies in order to sustain their life. It's ugly, it's a sad truth, but it's the truth. Like say the Anunnaki and beings of that caliber had clones. The ancient Egyptians had clones. The so-called pharaohs had clones made themselves. So in the event they're doing their life, they suffered from some type of terminal disease. The alchemists could immediately replace that with no fear of rejection because they replace it. 6 to 8 weeks determines whether or not your blood is going rejected, and there's no fear of that. And that's what it means when they say they're talking about those physicians. And in the let's say in the time of Zosa, the physicians would be that was his high priest, and in the time of Tutankhamun, he would be I. The high priest would be I. He had a bunch of men under him, which were called the royal guard of Amun-Ra. And they were high priests. They sometimes see them work with an ihram on, simple white robe, all head, no hair. They shave all of their body. Anything was bacteria attractive, they didn't have any more pure white robes all the time. They always showed them in any book you read Egyptian, they show you these men, they call them wabs. Well, these men knew the science, they were like scientists. They knew about the embalming, they knew about cloning, they knew about alchemy, altering molecules. They just learned. They got their knowledge from beings who came from beyond the stars here, which sounds crazy in America. So when we speak of beings coming from beyond the stars, it sounds like it's crazy until you talk to a Christian in America and you say, where did Jesus come from? And they go, huh? Say, well, where did Jesus come from? According to your Bible, Jesus said, I am from above, you are from beneath. Jesus said, I come down from the Father. As long as you're talking UFOs and you keep it in that terminology of UFOs, it sounds crazy. But when you turn around and just say, let's get for real, where did Jesus come from? That before he came to earth, he had to have been someplace. If you say he came, they'll say, well, Jesus came from heaven. The next question is, where is heaven? The definition of heaven, of course, them is up there. Up there, where? Up there somewhere. Okay, good. You don't know exactly where he came, but you do know he came from up there. Then you are admitting that he came to this earth from some other place where he lived. Did he have a seat beside his Father there? They'll say, well, according to the Bible, of course, Jesus sat on the right side of his Father while up there. So there's seats there. Was there angels there, the heavenly hosts? According to the Bible, they were. And these heavenly hosts, were they nude or did they wear robes? Or when Jesus appears in visions or when the Blessed Mother Mary appears in vision, they always walk in white robes, etc. So they have robes there. Yes, when you read the holy books, it speaks about paradise and the fruits of paradise, and the pure water of paradise, and the gifts that we're going to get when we get to heaven, which are very similar to the things we already have here on earth, like you're conscious. But slowly but surely, we're being confronted with the reality that there's a place somewhere there where they go, a specific place. And in that place, there's seats and people talk. Because in fact, in Genesis chapter 3, God is walking in the Bible talking. Well, either God was talking to himself when Adam and Eve heard them, or it says, heard God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. So he was actually moving about. So what was he doing? Talking to somebody. People, because they heard him. Because you wouldn't hear him if there was no concrete, he didn't have no clicks on his shoes. You wouldn't hear him walking around the sand on sand. You won't hear nobody walking on sand in the cool of the day. So they must be having a conversation. Who was God talking to? Other beings that are on equal or beneath him or above him. They have to be in one of those places. They have to be either higher than him, equal to him, or beneath him. But whatever it is, there's other people there. If there's a seat on the right side, the only reason why you would mention having a seat on the right side is because there must be a seat on the left side. So if Jesus is sitting on the right side because he's good, then on the left side sits Satan. But Satan can't be there anymore because Galatians 12 says Satan was thrown out of heaven and can't come back no more. So there's an empty seat on the left side. But as you add these ridiculous little things together, it sounds like mumbo jumbo. They come down to a reality that there is a place where Jesus came from. And there's a place that Jesus wants us to go to. And he says, where I am, you may be also. But the point is, if he says that where I am, you may be also, as we go and look at that literally, he's saying, I am somewhere, and you're over there. And I want you here. And to find out where that, we simply go to the Lord's Prayer. Where is that here? Well, Jesus said, I want you to pray like this. Our Father, who art in heaven. So now he's separating himself from earth beings and saying there is a heaven and our Father is there. If all we have to do that, if we take it from the religious and just blindly go by faith and say, well, I'm not going to address this. We're not worthy to be here. Simply because it says you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. So we're supposed to know this. Otherwise, God would have never put him in the Bible. He didn't want us to find him. He never gave us the intelligence to find him. He wouldn't give the heathen it's to rage because God controls all the intellect in the boundless universe. So if someone speaks against God, God allowed him to do it for a specific reason. He wants that question raised. He wants that doubt in Thomas to exist. Because by doubt in Thomas, he can confirm the truth. If there's no doubt in Thomas, how do I get to the truth if I don't have somebody saying, well, I know God personally? And then some guy in the congregation says, you don't know God. God already knows for those situations. The cuckoo says, I know God personally. And the guy that says, you don't know God. He says, yes, I know God. Well, where is God? Oh, God's in heaven. He talks to my heart. Okay, now the situation changed. God talks to everybody. I thought you meant that you knew him personally, like I know this guy, and he talks to me like me and him sitting in the bar having a beer. That's a big difference. It's left like that. So when he's making reference to they, he's speaking of a place where beings are. Beings walk and talk with God. And they're called the heavenly hosts. In fact, one man in the Bible called Enoch was so good that God didn't even let him die. It says in the Bible, God translated him and took him to himself. And Enoch didn't even die a mortal death. So now Enoch in the Bible didn't die a mortal death.
Mic check. Mic check. I gotta see if y'all can hear me. So, wait.
My check.
Okay. So, my question is to the Christians. I'll start with Seven Day Adventists. Do you believe in aliens? Huh? Do you believe in aliens? You don't believe in NASA? You don't believe what NASA's saying is real? So, might as well go ahead and scratch you off the book for denouncing Jesus. Huh? Don't your Bible say that Jesus is an alien? Jesus is coming back somehow, some way, on something that look like lights and a bunch of colors. Hmm. No man knows the day or the hour, right? Of course, we don't know the day or the hour because they done played with time so much. Christians, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in outer space? So you agree with me? I need to get a response. I need for a Christian to put a one in the chat if you believe in aliens. If you believe that that green light out there means something. You believe in the stars, so you believe in outer space. And you believe that intelligent beings live outer space. You believe in angels. Yeah, you believe in angels. So, and nobody questioning that green light out there. But that ain't no man seen in over 50,000 years. So they ain't no man ever seen it. They only try to change what they think it's made of and what it is. Hmm. Remember the twinkling of an eye. That happened already. It was out there then. That's when I started posting it. Y'all don't believe about that green light? I'm changing the title to green light over everything. Green light over everything. Huh? Where's my emerald tablet? And they ain't even mine. Go ahead and open up them pages. While y'all got it, make your decision. Those who plan on staying, you need to go ahead and file for a job training artificial intelligence. Everybody, huh? Go to your local neighborhood government office, go stand in a line and tell them you would like to take a course in artificial intelligence. Everybody, I'm telling you, go line up, go get your money. I'm telling you. If you plan on staying here, that's all I can tell you. Every site, even the Space Force is hiring civilians. Huh? But you got to go take them artificial intelligence courses. Gather up Gog and Magog, the ones who don't have that, they're not going to have use for you. You'll be food for the gods. Part of Ukrainian food and fertilizer soil program. I'm not wishing nobody bad. I'm telling you, that's what they're telling you. That's what they're doing. That's what they're telling you. That's what's going on. Mm. But I don't want to do no bunch of talking on this live. I got archives for days. Hmm. Stop talking so much and just go back and play green light over everything. Red light, green light. One, two, three. Red light, green light. One, two, three. Hmm. Red light. I ain't get a. Ain't nobody putting that in there yet. What do you think the green light is about? I know. So Amazon know. Look what she did for me. They got a bunch of people putting pictures out there for me all over the world. And then you have I'ma look. One more time. One more time. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm seeing.
In a physical form. And if God took him and translated him out of this planet, so he went there in what? A physical form. If Elijah in the Bible, teacher of Iliad, took a chariot to the heavens, physically, they saw him go up into the sky physically, then what? There must be some place that he will meet physically. And Jesus ascended before the disciples physically, and they watched him, as they say in the Bible, go through the clouds. Correct? That's what it says in the Bible. You can take the Bible and make it suit your religious belief, but if you want to stay literal, it says Jesus went up through the clouds and his disciples watched him disappear into the cloud. He was in physical form. This was not from the cross, what they call it, when he saw the spirits of Elijah and he saw the spirits of Moses, and he had that transfiguration that they call it. To transform one figure to another, but he was still physical. Because in order for you to be illuminated, you must have some physical. You can't light a light bulb without a filament. You need that filament inside there to get the light. Now, when the light comes out the bulb, it appears to be something untangible. But if it turns the light back, it cuts back to that bulb, cuts back to that filament, cuts back to those wires, cuts into that force, cuts into that electricity, which is physical. So there are beings there. We have got to come into that reality that there are beings with God. What do we want to call them? Angels, or whatever term that makes us feel good. If you want to call them extraterrestrials, if you like the color green, call them little green man.
Oh, that's how I ended that.
Mommy Chu.
Did you see how my thing just went on its own to that channel? Now, whatever Baby Bot just did that, you fired. You fired. You don't, you fired. Siri, replace that. You don't run nothing over here. Now, back to what I was doing. Okay, so I did this one. I did this one. I did this one. So I want to. People of the sun.
The
book of Revelation and everything that was sent down in that particular book, and when they talk about the 144,000, everything that was
Green
stand on
light
Mount
over
Zion,
everything
and then
marathon.
after the year 2000, then what? I mean, what are we going to be doing? What do we have to do? I mean, are we making plans? Is that what you mean about that for us? As far as, as the Amorites and all that stuff is predicted because
It's nothing in prediction changes.
yeah.
You follow that? What you're looking at now is Revelations 21. Revelation 21 ties right in to Malachi 4. You know what I'm saying?
Malachi
The book
4.
of Malachi chapter 4 about the incoming of the end of the world.
Okay.
If you look at the Revelations 21, when they talk about the removal of the sky and the removal of the earth, they say the heavens and the earth is going to be taken away and a new one is going to come in. That's the same thing that took place in Genesis. The old world, right, before Adam and Eve was removed, and a new world came in with the birth of Adam and Eve. And then again it happened in Genesis when you get down to Prophet Noah, and they moved everybody off the planet, and he took his seed and replenished the planet again. There's multiple times where the Almighty steps in and says, I'm going to remove all living things or either all creeping things, and I'm going to bring in new things, what they call a replenishing or a refilling of the earth. All right, we're coming back into that cycle right now. We're coming back into the cycle because, pay attention, because the moon cycle has gone out and the sun cycle is coming in. The moon cycle is a symbol of the night or the shadow hour, and the sun cycle is the symbol of the day. We moved into the sun cycle because as the galaxy makes a complete circle, it's called an equinox. And the planet gets closer and further away from the sun at different times in its motion. During the period of time that the sun and the planet are close to each other, those are periods referred to as the solar era. And when it gets farther away from it, it makes it, but it's an egg-like shape, right? When it gets further away, that is the moon cycle. That's why moon is synonymous with night and sun is synonymous with day. What is happening is every certain amount of thousands of years, it happens. Right? We're getting ready to come back into the sun cycle. We already started into it a while back when what the devil referred to as the Aquarian age. In that period of time, the sun gets closer to the planet, and a very strange thing happens. Right? The people who cannot live under the sun only have one alternative. What is it? No. They must go back to the caves.
Oh, okay.
They can't stay on the surface.
Yeah, okay.
You follow that? So what's happening now amongst the so-called Europeans, the reason why they're building underground tunnels across Europe, the reason why they're taking all the stores off the streets and turning them into malls, the reason why they're putting the cinemas, movies as you call them, inside malls and hospitals and everything on underground communications, because he's coming into an era time that before in the Holy Quran, you call it, so the God speak about a period of time when they went into the caves and they don't even know how long they were in the cave sleeping. They were sleepers in the caves. That means that was the other cycle when the sun cycle on the other side came in. Then it goes into a moon, then it comes into a sun again, then back to the moon. 2 moon cycles and 2 sun cycles to complete that complete equinox. All right? We're at a period of time now where the sun cycles come in, the ozone layer is moving, there's a greenhouse effect, the planet is warming up, and the European people have to get off the surface of the planet. They have to go underground. And they're trying to build everything. First, they tried to go out. They found out that life existed on Mars, but they couldn't exist there because of certain ammonia that they would make it impossible for them to survive. So back to build underground. They linked up Europe. They had to get a one world system so that all Europeans would be in tune, because those that are not in tune will die. So all we have to do, and people, when I speak about the end of the devil's rule or reign in 6,000 years, all we have to do is wait. You're looking for some phenomena other than what's taking place. In the books of Malachi, they call him the son of justice as righteous, but it's the son, and they use the word Shemesh. They don't use the word son like Ben, son, S-O-N. They use the word S-U-N, and they speak about the son of justice bringing out the fire upon earth. Right? That marks the world, and the sun itself is going to become the means of justice. And that justice is a confirmation of a prophecy that was made to us that when the devil comes out to harm us, fire would rain out of heaven upon them and consume them. Follow that? And that's happening to them right now. But we're looking for matches to be struck and flames. That's only one kind of fire. If you remember the hell book that I've written, I said there's a variety of different kind of fires. Is it a gas fire? Is it a carbon fire? There's different kinds of fires. The sun in itself, Ra, is a form of fire. You follow that? They call it Amun Ra because Amun means trusted. You follow? Amun Ra means trusted. And it makes mention in the book of Revelations in the 3rd chapter in the 14th verse about El Amun, the trusted or faithful in the truth. When I say faithful, I mean that I've made a promise with you and you are faithful to that promise. You follow that? So Amun Ra has to hold faithful to his promise to us as people of the sun. When I say Amun Ra, people think right back to idol worship in Egypt, right? And I'm talking about Ra means to see. And it's the same, like I explained many times, that Hagar used when she went in the wilderness. She said El Roy, which was enough for saying El Ra. She didn't say Ammon because Ammon was a certain people that she didn't belong to. It's another story. All right, so the promise is being fulfilled for us, that the time for the devil is ending. The fire is pouring down out of the sky.
It's happening now.
It's happening to them right now. It's giving them skin cancer. Each year they're told you can't go to the beaches. They love beaches. Beaches are a symbol of nudity to them. And the word nude is short for Nod, the land of Nod. We don't say Nod, we say nude. Now they're pushing for nudity beaches, and it's amazing because they're pushing for nudity beaches, but they can't go to the beach. So they must be pushing for nudity beaches for you and I. Because it says, oh, children of Adam, don't let the devil seduce you and take off your clothes. So he can't be making nudity beaches for Europeans because they can't go to the beach no more. They're telling them stay off the beaches. Where they're not getting burnt, they're poisoning the water. There's fires all across the country, floods all across the country. All this is done by the Illuminati. They're trying to destroy the surface of the planet so that we will have to go underground with them. Do you understand that? They're at a point now where
We don't
they
have to go. I mean, we're not going to go.
It depends. It depends on if you. It depends on if you're prepared or not.
Okay.
You've got to be prepared because regardless of how close the sun becomes to the planet Earth, it will not have any effect on us.
I mean, but do we have to prepare ourselves just as individuals?
No, we have to prepare ourselves as a body. That is our problem. We keep on picking up into individuals and dividing. We have no power. We're the only people that disunited amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
We get broken down all the way down into Jehovah's Witnesses and Seventh-day Adventists and Sunni Muslims and Ansars. We're broken up into all kind of little stupid splinter groups. There's Egyptologists over here, Dr. Ben on this side, and Clark is on this side, and Siraj Wahad is over here, and Muhammad Al-Amin is in Alabama, and Farrakhan is over here, and Warwick is over here. And that's just in the Islamic world. Then when you get into the Hebrew world, you got Ben Amin Kara, Yahweh Ben Yahweh over here, Rabbi Jeremiah here, Rabbi Matthews over here. That's in the black so-called Jewish section. Then when you get into Christianity, you got Seventh-day Adventists, Pentecostal, Episcopalians, Protestants, Baptists, Lutheran, Catholic, and all of this has been set up to divide us in mind. Because the power of us coming together mentally can affect the world. The whole thing is to keep us divided in mind, right? Because of this day and time. The devil's time is at its expiration date. It's fulfilling his prophecy. It's 6,000 years that's coming to an end. Now, what he has to do is get off of the surface of the planet. If you would just be patient, he'll have to leave. He can't reverse the greenhouse effect. He cannot push the sun away. He cannot reverse the destruction of the ozone layer. He can't stop that. It's not bothering you. He's convincing you that it's bothering you. He's trying to tell you, you better not go to the beach, because if you go to the beach, you're going to get skin cancer. What's wrong with you? You was born on the beach. What do you think Ethiopia is? What do you think Sudan is? 130, 110, 115 degrees all year round. So we are waiting. I am waiting for the sun. I raise my hands to Amun Ra and say, come closer to the earth. Because the closer he gets, the faster he gets, the quicker they have to go underground. And what they're trying to do now is they're trying to destroy the surface of the planet. So they're poisoning the water so we'll have no fish. They're burning all the forests so all the livestock is gone. They corrupted all the farmland. And then they're destroying all the countries that oppose them where we might take refuge. You follow that? All the Middle East is being wiped out. All of Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia. Don't fall for that Somali lift. That Somali lift was a result of the fact that they looked on television and saw them camps in Russia and they saw them Amorites starving over there. So they had to get food over there. One day, it took them to close all them camps in Russia and bring food. And because the public's eye was on it, they sent a couple of bags of being Ethiopia like a balance for the UN. Actually, they're not least concerned. Part of the plot is to destroy all of what's called Africa, either by AIDS, famine, you follow diseases. They're gonna wipe it out because they have to go, like the Quran taught, back in the caves. You follow that? They have no choice. They build these high rises and these condominiums. All of the so-called Europeans who live on the southern part of this country are now moving north.
So they're going to eventually leave out of South Africa?
They have to. They have to leave out of South Africa, but it's going to be in such a bad state, there's nothing we can do with it anyway. They gave the land to these Amorites. They didn't have to, but they could have taken, and they didn't have to leave Nelson Mandela in jail for 26 years. So they wanted him in there until they lobotomized him and used him as a tool. But let me get back to where we at. People ask me all the time about South Africa. I'm not in South Africa. We're right here, and we got problems. And we better get straight. We better start worrying about what's happening. We're running out of time, and they're making more demands. The reason why you see them trying to renovate your neighborhoods and buy up your neighborhoods is they have to get out of the South. You understand that? They got to leave Georgia. They got to leave Florida. They got to leave South Carolina, and they'll have to live from the upper part of North Carolina up where the weather is controllable until they can go underground. So now you drive all up in these mountains, and all you see is Florida plates and all old Jews walking around up here because they're trying to find places here up in Canada. That's their refuge. So there's many times they try to put a community in Canada, they couldn't get it established. We have a with Buffalo, all up there. And it dawned on me because we have to get out of here and go south. Why do we have to go south? And why do we have to go to an area south where it's open and not mountainous? Because that's where he can't come. He cannot chase you where he cannot go. You follow that? So as long as we're up in a mountain area, he can come up here. But when we get down in an area where it's flat and open plains and the temperatures range in the hundreds, we don't have to worry about him coming down there because as the sun gets closer, he will not be able to survive. It would be suicide for him to pursue us in an environment where nature is fighting against him. You understand what I'm saying? This is a day and time we are now for the people that say, why are we leaving Mount Zion and going south? Because we're passing him on the road. And let the fools come this way and we'll go that way where he can't come. But we're going to have to learn how to survive down there because you forgot how to be sun people. And that's one of the main reasons why I said stop the perms and the jerry curls and all that crap because you can't afford it and you won't have access to it. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And I didn't say go back to Afro, because Afro described one hairstyle. One hairstyle. And I heard somebody say just yesterday, if they were to bring that hairstyle up to today, instead of us being called Afro-Americans, we would have to be called Jerry Curl Americans, Extension Americans, or Perm Americans, because Afro is just a hairstyle, and the word Afro don't apply to us. We are not Africans. And I say that to say nobody is African.
Good evening. We're coming to you from the Holy Seed Baptist Church of the District of Christ Incorporated. This program program is for one group of people and one group only, the children of God. We no longer have to or wander off the straight path. For those who want to make a difference, for those who want to know the truth to so many unanswered questions, and for those who are tired of the devil taking control over everything in their lives and the lives of their children. This program is set up for those who believe in God's kingdom here on earth, according to the scriptures, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Therefore, we must take back control of our lives. We, the Muslim Baptist Church, are reaching out to reach all of God's children, as it states in Psalms chapter 82, verse 6. I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Next, you'll be listening to our pastor, Dr. Malachi Z. L. in question and answer form.
Good evening, everyone. I would stand up, but my son is like napping on my lap here. Today on the Word Network, and one of the reverends on that particular show had mentioned about, I was trying to find it in the book of Matthew, and it says, upon this stone I will build my church, and the very gates of hell shall not prevail against it. What exactly does that mean, and where can I find it in the Bible?
Matthew 16:18.
16, 18? Okay.
In Matthew chapter 16, it'll tell us what it's about. It reads, and Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
Most people think he's talking about Peter, who was one of Paul's disciples in the sea. But in actuality, he's talking about what Peter said. The principle, if you go back to the principle and read the principle, he's saying, this is what my church is built on. My church is built on, blessed art thou, right?
Simon Bar Jonah, 16. And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.
Saying, on my church is built on that foundation, that he is Christ, the Son of the living God. Most people will translate it. He's saying Peter because Peter got the name Cephas and it meant rock, right? And that he's talking about Peter, but he's saying, no, my church is built on that principle. Anybody who's in Christ, the body of Christ. But when Christ says church, Christ knows the difference between praise himself and church. The church is a Greek word meaning assembly. And anybody that's in the church is in the body of Christ. If you're in the church and you confess your sins, you are in the body of Christ. And that is the church. They still gather in synagogues. And you read throughout the Bible, no mention of Jesus ever meeting in a church. That was a Greek rendition given the foundation of the church, which is you, like Peter, a person. The statement you just made, if you hold fast to that statement, that is the foundation of the church on which we stand, and that's what he's trying to say. That's the whole principle. If you miss this principle, I don't care what denomination you come to, you're not on your Christ. Principle is right there in 16. Read it again. And Simon Peter answered,
Christ, the Son of the living God.
that's what the church is built on. And a lot of other things are fringe information, but the foundation is, can you acknowledge that Christ or within with the first chapter 1 verse 41, we find out that Christ is an interpretation of the word Messiah, or in Hebrew we say Meshiach, or in Amharic Messiah, or the language of Jesus for Galilean is Messiah. the same language, and it means to wipe things clean. That's what it means, not just anointing the way the Hebrews grafted it while in Egypt, from the Egyptians as Mesa, which means to anoint with oil. But the root meaning in the root language of it is idol. This is one way it's written, and this here is another way it's written. And this one here is the one they're taken from the Egyptian as Mesa and became Messiah. To anoint something or to make it holy or pure. But this one, which is from the Galilean language, and Jesus spoke Galilean, not just Hebrew like we were telling you. He spoke Galilean. His disciples, even Matthew, was born in Galilee. And Galilee is a form of Syriac, which is today miscalled Arabic by Arabs. There is no because the word Araba or I, Ra, and Bet travel around. And an automobile in the Arabic language is called automobile. A person's going to get into a car. It's car. He has to translate that in Turkish to move from place to place. That's the language. So Jesus, so in Arabic, you see this word written in the Quran for his name. And they say that means El-Masih. And they call his followers, when they was insulting them, Messihin. They call Messihin because they're trying to be derogatory and say that they are followers of Jesus, as opposed to a Jesus that I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father but by me. They call themselves insulting. Smart for them. Every time they would try to track Jesus, they wouldn't in a trap, they just left him alone. They would come out and disciple. You'll find Messiah used throughout the whole Arabic-speaking world as Christians, but inside the Son of God, the Son of the living God. So refer to Jesus as Lord of the earth, and refer to his Father as Lord of the earth. So whenever of Jesus, and we call him the Lord Jesus, you've got to bear in mind that what you're saying is Lord of earth. But the day that you imply that Jesus is Lord of the heavens, then you are guilty of blasphemy, because Jesus said in Matthew 6, to pray ye this way, talking to you. Don't speak the way he speaks, but pray. Don't pray this way. Our Father who art in heaven. He made it very clear that there's a Lord of the heavens. Lord. So it was tactic by people who, after Jesus had moved on back to the Father again, resurrected, delighted to wait for the return, to start trying to cause confusion, and wanted to confuse the time. Take the word Krishna and apply it to his followers, because the Hindu believe in Krishna incarnated. And they use the word avatar. The word avatar, or an incarnation of God in flesh, and it was used in the Hindu religion long before the revelation of the Torah. But it's a known fact in Sanskrit that predates Buddhism. You follow that? And in that doctrine, they refer to Jesus as an incarnation of God. You see? So that when we, as people in the Bible, are confused, and we talk to some Christians, you'll find that they're confused as to Jesus' real position. On the pinpoint, they'll say, well, all we have to do is have faith. That's not what he said. He said, you shall know. You must be defended, so you must know it. We can't be walking around hating while everybody else sounds good. We don't say in the Bible. He made it very clear when he said, our fathers are in. So he said, our fathers are our Father who art up in heaven. You establish it, I'm on earth, and my Father is in heaven. He said, I am the what? Way. I am the way. The light. I am the way, the truth, and the light. So he was trying to tell you what after that? No one comes to the Father but by me. Now, picture what that means. Stand up, picture. get a picture. If you don't get a picture, you right there. That's the problem, right? And you're the person, or your that you need to Christ, don't go. You're Christ, and you're going to take me as the Son of God to your Father. If I would, if I resist, that's my prerogative. That's what he said. You're not let me not come in. So you reach at me to come for my own salvation, for the sins of the world. And I cannot look like this here and go on and become a heathen. Or I can grab that hand and you take it from me. Don't take it from me. Leave me in the bosom of the Father. We get that picture in our mind. We get a clearer picture of the message of the Savior. We want that in our mind. We want to make the Savior his Father. And he said, no, I am not great.
Send me.
I'm not great.
Send me.
Because you make it clear, somewhere along the line, you need to step in and make it their business to distort the meaning so that the message would be confused and it would be hard. It'll hold on except by faith. You see that? Except by faith. And he knew that would happen too. That's why he said, even though they don't see me. Right? Now, in other words, I'm not there to rectify the error. As Jesus walked through life, he was constantly correcting. Sabbath is not made for man, and man was made for Sabbath. If someone is dying on the Sabbath, they're drowning, you can't help them off the water. That's not, God didn't mean that. The word Shabbat means persist. It don't mean don't persist. The Hebrew word they use, Shabbat, means to distance from something. But not to avoid assisting someone. If you see a person bleeding on the roadside and you are helping, you're not supposed to say, well, this is the Shabbat, and I made this person die. I do what I could say to the murder, and now I follow another commandment. So Christ had to come along and straighten those things up. And once he got everything in order, you understanding what he was doing, the devil stepped in. That's right. The devil said, I cannot let this happen. These people realize that they are the children of God. I must make them report to the principle of being child of God. I got to give them such a guilt complex about themselves and sin to the world. And even if they could, the last thing that comes to their mind, being a child of God. And not being a child of God, you cannot be heirs to the kingdom of God. So they would remove the reality that you are a child of God. They also remove the reality of you being heir to the kingdom of heaven. Because I mean, you say I don't like you. You follow what I'm saying? You don't have to go through no deep ritual to get there. By right, you are the blood. That's why I said blood of Christ. I trust in blood. I trust in blood means crucifixion. No. Means his seed. His blood seed, the seed of the woman, from Eve through Seth all the way back, from trying from the beginning of time, biblical time that is, to lead us forward. And one of those ways was to alter words and get us saying something like this and putting it, let's say Christos, and then when you look in the Latin, the K comes back in and the H disappears and it becomes Christos or Christa. Like Hare Krishna. It's not Christian, it's only Greek. And if you want to get the truth of Greece, you go back to the Bible in Genesis and go to Javan, the son of Japheth. Genesis 10:5, Javan. Javan is the son of Japheth, one of the sons of Noah. You got that? And when you get there, you know what you find out? That he was the beginning time. Anybody, read it out. By these were the isles
of the Gentiles.
And when you look under the storms, we call it the library, search for library. When you get to these people, you find out they call them Ionians, a word meaning Greeks. Way back then, Greeks were in our blood. How they get in our blood? Because Javan was a Negro. But back then, the Israelites or Hebrews did a bad practice of marrying out of race. Marrying Canaanite women. But God told them don't marry. So they went straight up. Do not marry Canaanites among whom you live. Abraham passed on to his son Isaac. Do not take a daughter from the wife of the Canaanites among whom we live. And the Canaanites are the Gentiles from the scriptures. Goyim, as we say in Hebrew, for our home as Mari. You follow that? And so we find that this is the seed of the Greeks. Another word for Greeks is grew. You follow that? And that's where they get the word Jew from. A J and a G is interchangeable in Semitic language. Yeah, because either J or G. Grew, Greek, Jew, the same. Gentiles. God talks about the Gentiles. He does in the book of Psalms, chapter 2. When he starts off, why do the
Heathen rich.
When you look up the word heathen in the Torah, you find the word goyim, which is the Hebrew word Gentiles. But the translators who were goyim, the King James and them were Gentiles. So I hold the King James Bible. You're holding the Bible by a man who knows that he's a cursed seed. And he has to follow words so that you will not find the truth. But when you look into the language, you say, why do the heathen
Rich.
and do what?
And the people imagine a vain thing.
What do they do next?
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together.
Against who?
The Lord against his anointed.
When you look up the word anointed there, you get the word Messiah. Messiah. You see that?
That's right.
So Christ and his father in proper term is mentioned way back in Psalms before he came. That's why it says before Abraham. And look at that go. And now go back to where we started. St. John's chapter 1, verse 41.
First findeth his own brother, Simon Peter, and saith unto him, we have found the Messiah, which is being interpreted the Christ.
Read it again.
He first findeth his own brother, Simon, and saith unto him, we have found the Messiah, which is being interpreted the Christ.
What did we just find out just happened?
Somebody's interpreting.
We found out that when the Bible got out of the hands of the Hebrew language, got out of the hands of the whom God made the covenant with. And prior to Abraham, Noah, God made up an actual covenant with his seed. Throughout all generations, he said, an everlasting covenant. So now what would you do if you was on the planet and you came to the realization that the Elohim, the Yahweh, or the Shaddai, or the Jah-Ali, what would you do if you found out that the creator of the universe didn't have you in his family book? How would you, if as you start to trace back through the scriptures, you don't find yourself? When you get back and you see in the courts of Solomon, a woman stands up and says, I'm black but comely, or simply black. I'm black and beautiful, Toyoba, in Hebrew. He says these are people calling themselves black. And then you go look at the name Ham, it means scorched, burnt black, which they translate now as hot. Which comes out to be the land Sudan, which happens to translate as Sud, Aswad, black, is Jesus' language. Then you go to land Cush. Cush is in the Bible as Ethiopia.
Even in Greek, Ethiopia means burnt faces. Yeah. But then in the Bible, in the dictionary, you look it up, it means black skin. So now we're back to what? Who God gives a what? A perpetual covenant to his seed. Genesis 9:9, read it then, lock it up. Oh, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you.
Go ahead. There's a perpetual you mentioned.
and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off anymore by the waters of the flood. Neither shall there be any more flood to destroy the earth. God, this is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generation.
Thank you. So the covenant that God made with Noah's seed and every living creature that was in the ark, he said, which was all of Noah's seed and the animals, was for how long?
Perpetual.
God made a covenant. Well, we and hold up a Bible dictionary so that we don't sound like racists, but we sound like historians. Because when you start talking about the Bible and color, you become a racist when we do it. But when they throw white Jesus and kneeling down in front of rocks and shoulder length fur, not here. I mean, give us the image of the beast and have us worshiping his image. If I step in and say, excuse me, Jesus didn't look like that according to the Bible. He definitely didn't look like that geographically. Where he because if you go to Galilee now in Bethlehem, the nigger tribes are still there.
Still there, that's right.
Still living in Israel today. They're just black as ever and happy hair as ever. You understand? You may run around Tel Aviv and find a bunch of Germans and Russians and French and Polish who have came over, adopted to our religion, call themselves Israeli. You may find a bunch of Palestinians who have adopted to our religion, call themselves Muslims, but are not. Because Abraham was a Muslim. And the Quran says Abraham was Muslims before Muhammad did. And Abraham was a Chaldean of Syrian birth. You follow that? And if you do any research of Chaldean Syria or Assyria or Ashur, as the Bible puts it in the chat, you're back amongst Negroes again.
That's right.
People don't like to hear this truth. Especially our people. They have accepted the position of a Gentile. They have accepted that they are second-class citizens.
That's right.
And now they got white preachers because they got more money than them, can have bigger churches looking like they are really carrying on God's work because they're able to do it financially. Because Nelson Publication can put out a Bible. And you go to any Bible store, you can go to a shelf and see 10, 15 different translations of the Bible by Nelson Publication alone.
That's right.
Or Zanovill. But you don't see any Bibles by any black churches.
You don't.
Or any black scholars.
You don't.
None done. Okay, you say, well, it's the Heritage Bible, done out of Howard University, but they had restrictions. They had to stay with it. They had to stay as close to the King James Version as possible. Because if they didn't do that, they would reveal too many secrets. One of the secrets they reveal is that his name is not Christ. That's a Hindu word. And the Bible, as we just read, St. John chapter 1, verse 40, tells us that they found him as the Messiah, or the Messiah, or Messiah. And then they what?
Interpreted it.
What does interpretation mean?
Changed it.
Why? The point is, if they can put the word Messiah in the verse, and expect us to be able to read that, you mean be able to pronounce it, because it's written, so why is it necessary to interpret it? If I can read that he first met own brother Simon,
and said, we have found the Messiah. But I read Messiah, so I don't need interpretation of Christ, unless you are trying to translate me out of the spirit of the sound of the language that would link me to God.
That's right.
Unless you're trying to pull me away because you want me to say things. See, if you're walking down the street and you're way over there, and I'm going, yo, Bill, and your name happens to be Josh, chances are you won't turn around. Are you with me?
Yes, we are.
Chances are you will know I'm not talking to you. So now here we are in the shores, and we're saying, God help me. Christ help me. And we're still on the bottom of the totem pole. When we read about ourselves in the book, under King David, and under Solomon, and under Abraham, and all the other black folks there, they were rich.
Yes, we were.
They built kingdoms and land. We set up whole lands, temples, altars, the Bible says. We were dragged into captivity more than 10 times throughout the Bible, and still came out and set ourselves up.
Every time.
Every time. And we are in bondage again.
It's the truth.
But you know why we're in bondage? Huh? Say what? I didn't hear it clearly. Because we turn away from our God. And we start chasing other people's gods. We turn away from our way of life and pick up religion. We start saying things like Jesus Christ, God, which is German, Gott. And my brother said, no, it's not God, it's Yahweh. Oh, he must be from the cult, from the Yahweh people. See, the devil got it all fixed up. Wherever we try to rectify something, he got a name for it, cult. Oh, the Moabians, they're a cult. They don't believe what we believe. Maybe not. Maybe we don't believe what you believe because we're going by the language and you're going by translations by Greeks who are Gentiles who got the kings against the Lord and the Messiah.
That's right.
That's what it says right there. Against the Lord and his anointed. They are against the word Messiah. That's why they don't want you to use it. They're not talking about John, son of Zebedee. They want you to talk about Peter, Paul, Titus, Silas, Timothy, thank you. They don't want to talk about the one that Jesus himself said, I have to say Jesus so you know what I'm talking about, is his beloved. Why is it that we do not constantly quote John throughout the television broadcast? They're always quoting something that they say Paul said.
All the time.
If John is the one that Jesus loved, then shouldn't we love John?
Yes, we should.
If John is the one that Jesus has blessed, shouldn't we look for the words of John?
Yes, we should.
But every one of them Caucasian preachers stuck down our throats. Paul. Why? Because Paul was not even a Hebrew.
He wasn't.
Paul was a Israelite. Paul, like we read last week, said he built it on his own foundation. He ain't built it on another man's foundation, insulting Christ. Right? And somebody said he even changed his name. He was a FBI.
That's the truth.
Y'all laughing?
That's the truth.
Paul was an FBI agent, mixed breed of Roman, and they said he was a Benjaminite because his I visited Trinidad and I saw Chinese people there.
That don't make them Trinidad.
And they had a Trinidadian accent. I saw Indians there. And they had a Trinidadian accent. But I knew daggone well they wasn't Trinidadian. Because all I had to do was look at him and say, you Chinese or Japanese or Korean, you definitely ain't no Trinidadian. Now, you can open a Trinidadian store and sell roti, but you still a Japanese or a Chinese open a roti store in Trinidad.
Right.
You can walk around here and play like you're an Indian in Trinidad, but you're an Indian in Trinidad. You understand? Well, y'all the tribe of Judah in America.
You can walk around here and say you American Negroes and Afro-Americans and all other things, the Muslims and everything else you want to call yourself, but you still the tribe of Judah in America. You're still in a new bondage. Mentioned in Genesis chapter 15, not to be forsaken with the bondage of 430 years that our brothers went through while in Egypt. Genesis chapter 15, verse 22. But rather a bondage under the Amorites in America. The new Babylon. You follow? Don't be blaming us for the guns on the street. You made it. And fought because they walk down the street and whoever gets to their gun first, talk people to go out and kill the kids. Kill each other. And they still they're saying it's wrong. You can go see Matrix and watch them kill people. Now killing each other. Demons and gargoyles in the cartoons. Prayer in school. A boy can walk into school with a comic book called The Demons of Hell and gargoyles. The teacher tells him, don't open that Bible. You better not read it again. But he can sit at his desk and read a book on the demons. And we don't have a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem to solve. The only way we're going to solve it is inside here first. We got to solve it amongst ourselves first. We got to realize what we're up against. We got to realize every time we turn on a television program, we are being programmed. And so is his people. But the difference is they're the seed of the devil. Like Christ said, he's a murderer and a killer since the foundation of the earth. He said, they don't want you to teach that the devil is a man. They want you to think the devil is on the hot sauce bottle. That he's a little red fella with a pitchfork, with horns. That's what they want you to think the devil is. On the train with you every day. And you see the devil, you watch him face inside. But no apparent reason sometimes. You literally find yourself saying, you. And he said, that's why. What the hell I do? See, he said, get it. You, children of Adam, condemn you to hell. And I want him. We have condemned him since the foundation of the world to hell eternally. And now we get mad when he does that thing. You see them looking like, I'm the devil, I'm supposed to do these things, you stupid. You go down there and get all dressed up. You the first one in line. You got all the credentials necessary. You on your job. You done graduated, kissed all the butts you could, did everything you supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And there's a list of people waiting, and you waiting, and then just like you. Right? Go in there and they say, sorry, man, you are overwhelmed. Can a person be overqualified to do something? Can a chef be overqualified when a doctor be overqualified when he's so-called kills the patient? How can I be overqualified to operate a computer?
Now be qualified. You're overqualified at one job, and underqualified on the other job. What's going on around here? And you're not stopping saying, devil. And knowing you say the devil, when you come home and see your brother all beat up by some old crazy guy, and said he won't. My brother goes to choir, he goes to church every Sunday. My brother is a Bible fanatic. He don't care. He don't care about you. He just live out the Quran and faith on his brother. He's beat up with some old crazy guy. And you don't believe. But there's nothing you can do about it. And you look at the shot those Jewish kids, and he looked up at the camera and smiled. Did you see him? He smiled. And you want to call that a man? That's the devil. You better get back to reality. You got comfortable around him. You started letting God start mistaking the devil. The devil is a God. He's moving through the world. He's more prominent now than he's ever been. Thank God. What's his name? That's right, Entrapped. Incorporated in 1966 in California. Ronald Reagan, president of Incorporated St. John's Church. Don't believe me. And let it blow your mind. They have conflict right here in Georgia on the military because they have satanic rituals through the society.
The spells in the churches when they release is a bondage statement. You are leased being, and you would like to be unleashed. To say release or releash, continue to put a hold on the bondage. Continuing.
That's right. In Gatlinburg, Tennessee, 3 years ago, they raided a big party. FBI agents, CIA, sheriff having a big barbecue. In the middle of it was a big picture. They said, no, that's a sheriff symbol. Say, yeah, right, that's a sheriff symbol. The sheriff symbol is an inverted pentagram. No problem about it. They need our blood for their ritual to conjure up their disembodied souls who are trapped in their blood. Don't you remember in the Bible when they say God smelled the sweet savor of the burning offering? They put a goat on an altar because a goat was Nigel, which was the devil's middle name. You hear me? They call him the scapegoat. And two rituals they do. They would drive the scapegoat to the edge of a cliff in the village and push him off. And the representative putting people out of town. But the priest, that's the bad would do. But the priest would take the same goat and put it off and cut his neck. And let the blood of the goat dribble down the altar and then burn the carcass. And God liked the way the blood smelled. See that? That's in your Bible. All sorts of things in satanic house. They're always talking about drinking blood. And they say the best blood is the blood of pure, innocent virgins or children. It's all over. They tell you what they do. And they don't want us to set up on this land and protect our family because we will become that surviving group when they have plans to eliminate our people. Totally eliminate us. You don't the last time you seen the things that fast? I hate to say it, but when 7 days Judas died, a certain kind of black man died. We ain't doing that. So, and new mind came in with some hip hop mind. He quickly changed from great dancing to great dance. Hardcore gangster rap scared hell out of them. So he made puppy and sweet sauce coming in, changing around to pull the guns out of his kids' hands. He was scared because he knew that we might just stand on the corner and feel it. And they walk on by inside. I'm just going to put my but for what you have done. The devil, he's only afraid of you. He's afraid of us coming together. He's afraid of the power that we get together. And we become in one accord. We start focusing our mind on anything. We start chanting on it, things start happening. Happens in the church, it happens in the mosque, it happens in all religions. They got to be a Christian, you a Muslim. Muslims go into ecstasy at Sufis, and Christians go in the Holy Ghost. It's the same power. It's not that the power is in you, but God said, well, I bring my spirit into you, and you came unto me. So you ain't a man, you're a living soul. He's a man. Incarnated. And you have the power to reject that energy. But confine yourself to the body. And in that you confine yourself to certain places in space and time. You limit yourself by accepting the confinement to the body. When you can think right now, get back to your house. Go to your room. Go to your bedroom. Make up that damn bed. Walk on out the room. Walk on to the kitchen. Stop and look around. See it? You are there and you are here at the same time. When you learn to control that mind power, you can send a powerful you and even you anywhere in the world or the universe. In that state, you cannot die. But if they can define you by making something clear to a bed, where all your mind is based on getting up out that bed, are bound to that spot. You are easily trapped in a space and time. The same way that I said before about going to video camera view. I spun out in that light, spun that light. Go into that lens and burn itself into the lens. That light will stay there for a while and gradually fade away. Same thing happens to you in death, because you are an energy field. The physical part of you makes the light.
Take up your bed and rise.
All of you is in darkness. That's why when people are conceived, they're conceived while light of darkness. They're in the womb in darkness. No man's hands can get in there and operate. The devil has now put light. What is light? Chaos. He now has light in the womb. He's scaring the baby before they come in the world and introducing them to light. A couple of people here and there try to get a little path of Freemasonry, and you think you know what you're talking about. But the question comes up, what does a master mason trade the deed for? And they say, well, a past master trades the deed for the son. That's Freemasonry. Master mason trades the deed when he becomes a past master and replace it with the son of that son's father. Follow that? So now, what state is the world in? Please, don't answer too quick. What state is the world in if it leaves the son person, or you see this reflecting on them, please don't believe God's code. Check it out. When you everything you think you see, you don't really see. You see light reflecting off of them and giving you that picture. You see in darkness. You stay in a state of darkness. And God was in darkness when he said, let there be light. Occasionally, living light. See what I can say? You see, that's why it's lit up. Otherwise, you're not safe. But when you want to go to sleep, cut it off. When you should, unset. You should have the lights on. So you say, I can't sleep unless the lights on. Your soul is made. You should feel safe in darkness. You should feel comfy in darkness. You know why? Because when you were cold, what do? Now you all up into a little knot, like a little baby, because you feel comfortable. And you know what that's the remembrance of? When you was in the womb of your mother in darkness. You are safe in darkness. They spent millions of dollars reversing that information to make you think like this. God is in darkness. Watch this. The world is lit up. Correct? Let's think of two places, heaven and hell. I want you to tell me something about hell. What's one of the first things that comes to mind when I say hell? Fire. Is that darkness or light? So now, who dwells in hell? The devil. Okay? And the hell is lit up by, so the devil dwells in, and the light is the fire. So God must not dwell with the devil. So God must be light can only exist if kindled and stimulated by things on the physical plane. There's no oxygen in the air, fire won't burn. Now, can God's fire ever go off? So then God must not be in fire, something ignited. God must dwell in not just darkness, but in simple darkness. These states, these times.
I'm doing a reading from the Millennium book. Nothing else to be said. The Millennium book, Dr. Malachi Z. York. The New World Order is coming with a new, different system of belief pertaining to life. They don't tell the whole world and nation nothing. They are walking with an archway before they give you any information. A communication knowledge. They are keeping within themselves. That's why I say we have outformation. Something necessary that was taken away from us. We are educators. We come with the outformation and we straighten the information. We as a people have to lecture, intellect, and then outerlect. Now, what the heck is outerlect, Pops? Intellect is information trapped within the environment that we are in. We're on Ta, Earth, and we deal with Ta, Earth sciences, Ta, Earth rhythms, alignments, growths, deaths, experiences, developments, and all that's happening inside this dome, a sphere that we're in. But if you get a message from the outside and hear a voice inside, people say you are insane. Think about it. You're not outsane. You are not out of your sanity. You become insane when you hear stuff from voices outside this realm, outside your realm. Instead of just saying you are outsane, they say the person's insane. They are freaking me. They say the person's insane. they are in here and they become sane. They lock you away, put you in a hospital. They have to keep me and you in formation. They have to keep us in rest. They have to keep us in order. They got to keep us in line. They got to keep us in the system. And when you step out of this system, out of their system, you are a problem. If you step out of line, you're a problem. If you step out of order, you are a problem. But God, Jesus, came from out in. He brought out elect here. He brought out formation here. And those who are ruling Jerusalem said he was crazy. Let's kill him because he's doing things that are out of order. He is truly out of this world. He said, I am from above and you are from beneath. He said, I'm going back. Anybody want to come with me? There are certain things you must do. First of all, let's learn to love each other. You have to learn to live for, of, and by each other. He said, the things I'm doing, you could do greater. You might say, how can I do greater things than Jesus? What is he? What was I trying to say in all that I've learned? I'll pass it on to you. And then use all that I gave you and your natural intelligence. And you will end up smarter than me. Many of chess students beat the master because the master teaches the students all their moves. After a while, the student got all their moves and then they're on their own. But he was being speaking from the outside in. I came in dismantling things. You don't want to understand anything. You want to now understand things. And you said, what do you mean? There's so many words, but there's a word for oversight, though. And introduce a word, overstanding. You say, no, I can't do it. What? I have to wait for you to create it in order to use it. No. Question your leaders. Question your teachers. Question. I have never said believe me. I said the word believe. I said the word believe is to lie to Eve's children. Believe. Lie to Eve's children. Right in your book of Genesis, where it says the devil is going to be out for the seed of the woman. He got beat, so he's out for our women. If he can tear her down, if he can tear us down, for they are our backbone, or they pretend they are. If you go back to ancient Egypt, you see a woman that is the backbone. He turned against our women, and he's not against women. His women controls him. His woman controls him. This is the time that we got to open our minds and start to question people and don't care who gets mad at you. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let me see what the word for word is. Let me see that word for word. Let me see where you got that from. And why do you have to say it? Why I gotta be that? Why I gotta do it like that? Why can't I laugh? Why do I have to keep saying it for it to be true? Why do I have to repeat it over and over again? Why do I have to establish that there is only one God if there's only one God? What we need is a reality, and that reality is going to make people hate you the way they hate me. Because when I first started teaching in this country, they hated my guts. They attempted my salvation to be maybe 50 times, but the Lord didn't have it made that way. He wanted me to get at least to the time. When you are at least to this point, when you're standing to open up and to see, I am not your enemy, no more than Christ was. When he came amongst a whole bunch of people that were under a rule of another people who had them convinced that you better not strap against that system, because if you do, you're going to lose your job. They are afraid of us this day and time. And this is the last time, because now that we are at our last hope, they are on their last hope. Their system in this world is falling apart. Every day, people are leaving the coast. As you learn your language, Nuapic, it's going to call for you to use tones that they have stopped using, and it causes you to lose your brain again. Oh, and that caused you to lose your brain again. Oh, and cause you to lose your brain again. Nawapic is going to help you realign your brain. It's better music, and that's how we spoke. We spoke in tones. They took the tones out, and taking the tones out, they took the rhythm out. They unaligned us and gave us their own tones and their own rhythms and their own words. They turned us off of our station. We got to get back on our own station. Get on your own station so we can add to our brain waves, our 800 megahertz, so we can align above the frequency that they're sending in. If we stop getting down under him with it, stop liking what he's putting out, that's why the commercials are louder than the programs. It's programming. That's why they call it the television program. What is coming on? What channel? Channeling. All the terminology is right there in front of you. And what they're doing to your mind. It's coming on channel 8. What? What program am I watching? What movie am I watching? What YouTube channel? They don't lie to you. They tell you what they're doing to you right in front of you. That's the pact. God dog, I heard somebody talk about the pact the other day. That's the pact they made in the book of Job, that they will do anything they want to you but kill you. That's why they named it the book of Job. There is no such thing as Job. Continuation. The great obelisk. an incredible achievement for Ed. And when I say Ed, does everybody know who I'm talking about? Because, you know, I could be saying Ed and in someone's mind, they could be thinking about, my name is Mr. Ed. Edward Lead Scallon. Edward Lead Scallon. Huh? Okay, 1857 between 1951. Nice pick, boy. I'm talking about that. That looked like some doggone Google capture. So this is who I'm referencing to. And he made the Core Castle in Florida. I personally don't think that he made it. I believe he confiscated it. So back to the obelisk. The piece is over 25 feet high and weighs, I'll say it the way y'all say it, obelisk. Oh, the piece is over 25 feet high and weighs over 28 tons. The obelisk is taller than the great upright at Stonehenge. All this power right here. Oh my goodness. I mean, because we can't do it individually. I already done figured that out. I can say what I got to say. They putting trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and billions of fake dollars to keep people shut up. Who am I? I done said what I had to say. Ain't going no further than it did, and they ain't gonna do nothing. The stuff that we can do is by defeating the principalities and powers. You know, they've been trying to take me out from yay back when. 5th, 6th grade, whole bus full of kids out tearing off my clothes and throwing rocks at me and shit. They're trying to kill me. Everything I've been through got me right here to this point, right here. Yep, back to the 0 point. I know some people don't look at that shit right there. The 0 point. The obelisk is taller than the great upright at Stonehenge and was moved single-handedly by Ed. See? Confiscated it. Confiscated it. Carved on its own surface is the year of completion, the year it was moved, and the year and country of Ed's birth. See? Where you were born is so important. Your heritage is important. I don't care which religion you go to. They all go to the begot. And you was begotten by who? That's where all the power is when you truly know who you are. They've given us so many different names. They've given you so many different names. I've given things so many different names, including my son. And was moved single-handedly by a carved on its surface is the year of completion, and the year it was moved, and the year and country of Ed's birth. The hole near the top is carved in the shape of Latvian star, the Latvian star, or Latvian, or Latvian star. Latvian, Latvian. The heart table. Ed's romantic demeanor is evidence in the creation of the Feast of Love table. What is love? Said so loosely. It is a perfect heart-shaped 5,000-pound table. Ed decided it would be too difficult to keep fresh flowers on his Feast of Love. So he an ixora bush in the center of the table. His original plant has been in place for almost 50 years. Some people are saying don't be awed by the stone carvings and the masonry work, the carpentry, the angles, but these conduits were put here for you to access, and it belongs to you, not just in the West, but in the East. All of it belongs to you. Everything that you've mentioned, everything you've envisioned, everything you've looked at, every speck of pixel that has come out of your orbit belongs to you. It was a gift. I heard someone say something the other day about a gift. It's your gift. And then they went into plagiarism. And I was like, but it couldn't be plagiarized if it was a gift. Which one is it? Are you gifting? Or are you looking to be paid? Because when you go into the terminology of plagiarism, the plague is you want something in return. That if it's a gift, you won't even mention it. Shaped 5,000-pound table. Ed decided it would be too difficult to keep fresh flowers on his feast of love, so he planted an ixora bush in the center of the table. His original plant has been in place for almost 50 years. The throne room. Do you have a throne room in your dwelling, in your temple? And when I say temple, you are the temple of the Spirit. I am not speaking of mortar and mud. Do you have a throne room? A place where you go with inside you, with all these things coming from outside of you. I hear voices of all kinds of people, not white people, black people, orange, clay, copper, red, brown, yellow, blue, all from outside coming in. Isn't that a form of insanity? It's a form of insanity when you try to shut all that shit out. The outside. When you be like, I ain't got nothing to do with none of this. That's when they call you crazy. Throne room. Ed believed that every man's home was his castle, and every castle should have a throne. Ed's throne weighs 5,000 pounds, and it rocks. He placed Sweet 16's throne behind. Ooh, what's some numbers about? Numbers. I told my granddaughter the other day, I said, they don't have God 10 million. She was going up, trying to be infinite about it. And I was like, it's not enough dollars for God. It's not enough dollars. Numbers ain't real. That's the image of man. There's enough numbers. Oh, back to what I was reading. He placed Sweet 16's throne. So what about that numbers? 316. Oh, Sweet 16 throne back and to the side of his own, with a child's throne next to hers. All the thrones are quite comfortable except for that of his future mother-in-law. That's like the doggone Three Bears, Goldilocks, right? Placed behind his own. Ed made this chair the most uncomfortable one in the castle, hoping it would cause her to cut her visit short. To the left, facing away from his throne, Ed built what he called his mad rocker. Mad Hatters. We got Mad Hatters, Mad Rockers, Mad Tubers, Mad Twitters, Mad Faces on books. He said that when he and Sweet 16 quarrel, one or the other could sit in this chair and rock it till they either made up or got hungry. Aww. Was that romantic, or is there more to this story? Where's your throne room? The moon fountain. The moon fountain is carved from 3 pieces of coral. The quarter moon on the left represents the first quarter of the moon. The quarter moon on the right represents the last quarter of the moon. The third piece of coral is the fountain, which represents the full moon. The first and last quarters of the moon each weigh 18 tons. The moon fountain. Notice the pyramid effect. The full moon weighs 23 tons. Ed used this part as a fish pond. He usually had fish and water in the pond and expected visitors to stop and look at his pond. Coral is very porous, which caused Ed to line the pond with cement. He built a star island in the center of the moon pond fountain, filled by means of an old pump located behind the moon fountain. Today, the moon pond is used as a wishing well. If they didn't scoop the money out, I got change in there. Money taken from the pond is donated to charity. Yeah. Which charity? WITCH. Char. ID. The tower and living quarters. The 2-story main tower was built to house Ed and his lost love. Built of 4 to 9 ton rocks, it weighs over 240 tons. The upper story was Ed's living quarters. 16 steps lead to this tiny room. A few boards wrapped in burlap hung from the ceiling as Ed's bed. The first time I went to a field trip, the Tower of Living Quarters, 9-ton gate. This is his most outstanding achievement. It is approximately 80 inches wide and 92 inches thick. It weighs approximately 18,000 pounds. Edward found the exact center of balance, and it can be moved by the touch of a finger. Even a child can open it with the touch of a hand. The gate has been probed and x-rayed by engineers and scientists, and no one has been able to give an acceptable explanation of how Edward did this. 1,000 tons of coral rock was used in the construction of the walls and tower alone. There are 65 sections of stone weighing about 120 tons. The average weight of the stones used in the construction of the Coral Castle is greater than those of the building of the Great Pyramids of Giza. While several of the stones were taller than those found in Stonehenge in England, what's strange about this is that no one has ever witnessed Ed at work, nor is there any record from the time he was at Florida City. I grew up in Florida City for a year between the age of 5 and 7, and then between the ages of 27 and 28. To the time he was at Homestead, Southwest Florida. I stumped grounds in Homestead. Ed stayed at Florida City until 1936 AD. That was a few years after my grandmother was born. Edward Liscalin's Coral Castle. At the time, it was said that someone planned to build a subdivision near to him, which the world had been an invasion of his privacy. So it was said he moved. The real truth of the matter is that the same group known as the Men in Black, who also visited Nikola Tesla and beat him up, came and abused Ed as well. After this incident, Ed moved to Homestead. We'll get into Nikola Tesla. It's just that I see that this information is very important at this time. Greater light. One of the places beings should meet, and it doesn't have to be a crowd, it can be 2 or 3 that know what's going on and know the magic, or build your own. Remedy H has been showing that building your own. Lamel, the Messiah Code, has been showing building your own. Ed's Florida table and chairs. Table and chairs, and looking at these chairs and all the other carvings, notice the absence of chief marks. The only place that you will see chisel marks are on some of the outer walls. You will notice the coral doesn't appear to have been carved, but appears to be in its natural state. Someone was mentioning coral the other day. They know who they are. They weigh approximately 1,000 pounds and are rocking chairs. Ed said his Florida table with Lake Okeechobee as a finger bowl. Oh, I used to love to go to Lake Okeechobee. I used to be so excited when my father on some weekends was going to Lake Okeechobee. Whew. It's mounds out there. It's but the fishing was, the main reason for our early morning journeys, leaving the house at 4 o'clock, maybe sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning to go fishing in Lake Okeechobee. With Lake Okeechobee as a finger bowl is the ideal place for the governor and representatives to figure out how to raise taxes. They use these. They are still using them, and we have access but we don't use it. And we are more connected to the elements, or some of you are more connected to the elements. I can't say that I am. That's being honest, based on my blood work. The 11 surrounding core rockers are all rocking. There's telescope, the floor, the table, and rocking chairs, and I'm looking at figure 45. The north wall contains over 150 tons of rock. There you will find the Polaris telescope, which is perfectly focused on the north. Stands 25 feet high and weighs almost 30 tons. Called telescope is 1940. Now, I was going through one of the almanacs that I have that is from 1843, and then it skips to 1943. Not saying the 100-year difference, because it ends in 1890. I want to say 7, or I want to say 7. But there's this gap. And a lot of us, our ancestors that we have had contact with, or know that our parents have had contact with, there's that gap in between. Like, a lot of us don't know anybody that came and transitioned in between those dates and times personally. So there's this gap. So on this telescope, it says 1940, the year it was completed. Ed studied and recorded the path the Earth travels by means of his telescope. He used this data to build his sundial. Do you have a sundial? Have you created your own sundial? I'm not saying that. I'm just, it's just a question. Sundial. Ed created his sundial to record the hours between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And our hours differ if you want to go by their hours, their horse. And the open and gateway is between the 23rd and the 24th hour. So where you start your hour or begin your hour and proceed your hour at, say, 11 a.m., you would still be in that 23rd hour, depending on where you decided to start. So his record is 9 a.m. p.m. The hours he believed a man should work. Using Ed's sundial, it was possible to tell time within 1 or 2 minutes. A short inch, or the width of a man's thumb, is equal to 5 minutes. Time indicated is always standard time. This is information on how we got trapped in time. In order to know how to untrap time, you have to know the portals or the history and the information that that's telling us the truth in our face. And how once you know how they accomplished it, and you learn the engineering of it, you adjust it to you. Crescent moon, for those who worship the moon, and crescent moon and planets located within the east wall of the 20-foot tall crescent of the east, which weighs over 23 tons and was moved. I could read on this because I've been there. I've been to the Coral Castle. This is our own contest, own tone. Whose tone
can be the best?
I thought it was the longest.
Yes, the longest.
Oh, you trying to be best? You already the best. That's that's no competition here.
Yes, it is. Competition starting now.
Okay.
How can you do that?
People are all the way up. Like, wait, no. Blow all the way out first.
I did it first. You stop. You stop. You can stop. You can stop. You can stop. You can stop.
All right, one more time. On.
I almost did it.
We should do this live. I got the 3 tones coming at the same time. You got it. And in many ways, I feel just an old man, born in the country, raised on the farm, no money, fine clothes, fancy homes and cars. But thank God, Mama and Daddy raised me up on the real deal. And that's God Almighty. My experience with astral projection. Astral projection can take a toll on your body if you master it. Anybody telling you that they're astral projecting and they don't have like fibromyalgia or their vision is going, they lying. They lying. It doesn't matter what health mechanism you use, it tears down certain structures in your body. And after doing it for so long, it's hard to, it's like the car. I'll come back out of it. Before I get into the astral projection of my experience, I'm also going to go into the medical jive. They've been narrating me around. So, where do I want to begin with the medical? Okay. I got a list of medical issues that doctors have diagnosed me with. And also. And they telling me ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. Okay. Now, I know that the pain that I experience is from being an empath so long. I have very overactive, very, very, very overactive nervous system. And they took my left ovary without permission. Or they didn't let me know that it was done during one of my surgeries. They told me I had to get my gallbladder removed. That was full of stones, so I had a gallbladder surgery. I had TIA, a stroke, mini stroke. I had that in 2017. I have a lesion in my head. I had that for a long time. What else? I had one bowel obstruction repair, and that came from one of the meshes that they put in. It got lodged into my intestine. Then I had 2 hernia repairs. Okay, and I had 3 C-sections. But one of the C-sections was during the they did a repair. Nope, they waited to do the repair. So yeah, that's 10 surgeries. That's how many times they cut into my body trying to continue experimenting on me. I could tell you about a dental appointment I had. They was trying to put me to sleep. When I realized they was trying to put me to sleep, it's just something that I do, that I make my veins like start running and close all the way up. So let me tell you, they had 2 dentists in my mouth at the same time. And they had 4 nurses and 1 anesthesiologist. What is wrong with my tongue? Anesthesiologist. So he couldn't find my vein. He couldn't find my veins. He went in my neck. He went into my fingers. He went in my toes. He was dead serious, but the whole time now they got that laughing gas on me. I went into a trip, and they actually pulled out a tooth that wasn't on the x-ray to be pulled out. Now, the thing about what I appreciated the most was the Asian doctor that was in my mouth. When he saw me tripping and going and panicking, he was rubbing my head, and he was like, think happy thoughts, but all I could think about was my son and what I had been through, and so I was spilling my guts. I was spilling my guts during that surgery. That was in Overtown. Yes, sir. I do remember saying this also. He said, I can't find her veins. And I said, because I'm an alien. I wasn't trying to say that, y'all. I promise you that anything that was coming out my mouth, I had no control over it. As a matter of fact, I could feel my body coming, like my soul trying to pull out of my body. And I was trying to hold on to my soul. I was on laughing gas for damn near an hour. two of the surgeries, they had to revive me, and they my sternum, they cracked my sternum. It healed back good. I healed really well. Now that's the point of all that I'm saying, that I supposedly am, according to their blood work in their labs, alpha thalassemia. and they told me last week my blood work is exceptional. My liver is functioning properly, even though I was on Depakote for damn near 20 years. My oxygen level is perfect, even though I got these damn balls in my left lung. Because my oxygen level is always good, even though my globin doesn't produce it to as the normal functioning of man. And what else about my body? So I'm just letting y'all know how they do me and how they handle me, you know. Backtrack. What was this topic about? Oh, let me go on a little Jeopardy venture. I met this Navy officer, ex-Navy officer, out of Illinois. I mean, he had property in Florida too. But after the surgery where they took my gallbladder in 2017, as soon as I was released from the hospital, I was on the train with them damn stitches and shit. And we was at the Virginia bus station watching Jeopardy. The bead, the hexagon, and the golden disc. Now, I'm going to have the computer read for me, which I've been doing. I type it out, some copy paste here and things like that. I try to make sure I put, who gets the credit, where I retrieve the information from. But then anything you hear that says AK, or it just doesn't sound like it is taken from the text, it's added in the interjections, that's by me. Here we go. And I'll be cutting in every now and again. Just a moment. Here we go.
Scientists create simple synthetic cell that grows and divides normally. By National Institute of Standards and Technology. Interjections by AK. 5 years ago, scientists created a single-celled synthetic organism that, with only 473 genes, was the simplest living cell ever known. However, this bacteria-like organism behaved strangely when growing and dividing, producing cells with wildly different shapes and sizes. AK had a growth rate of thousands of cells within an 8-hour span during recording of its first birth. Sounds out of control to me. We do know that when a new element such as bacterium-like viral-like beings invade the ecosystem, an automatic depopulation happens. AK. Now, scientists have identified 7 genes that can be added to tame the cell's unruly nature, causing them to neatly divide into uniform orbs. This achievement, a collaboration between the J. Craig Venter Institute, JCVI, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, Center for Bits and Atoms, is described in the journal Cell. Identifying these genes is an important step toward engineering synthetic cells that do useful things. Such cells could act as small factories that produce drugs, foods, and fuels, detect disease and produce drugs to treat it while living inside the body, and function as tiny computers. And function coexistently with tiny computers such as your phone, AK.
Okay, so these cells were created, and the growth rate, which was 5 years ago, within an hour, billions of cells are reproduced. So the cells that they created, this JCV1 synthetic, not knowing whether it's bacteria or virus, was out of control. How were they able to contain it? They weren't able to contain it. The person that they're using to blame is just a scapegoat. This was created right here in your so-called homeland. And we're gonna go from here. That's why they were able to get what they call the antidote, so-called, because they created it here. It's just a bunch of bull, but there's a reason why I see JCV1 as the ancestor of COVID. And then the connection of JVC, like lit up JCV, lit up JVC in my head. So again, this is just the way I see it and want to see. Well, yeah, I want to see it because I know it's truth, you know. Here we go.
But to design and build a cell that does exactly what we want it to do, it helps to have a list of essential parts and know how they fit together. We want to understand the fundamental design rules of life, said Elizabeth Strakowski, a co-author on the study and leader of NIST's cellular engineering group. If this cell can help us discover and understand those rules, then we are off to the races. Scientists
see how they think? If this cell can help us to discover and understand those rules, what rules? The fundamental design rules of life. We don't have that already. That wasn't already designed in our original state. Yeah, okay. And back to, I wanted to go back to the paragraph where it says, such cells could act as small factories and produce drugs, foods, and fuel. So they've been experimenting on creating this synthetic cell. They say 5 years in this document. We know it's been past 5 years because Dr. Malachi Z. York pronounced it way back. So, you know, they've already been working on this. As a matter of fact, I remember the information about cell division and the synthetic cells in the Millennium Book, which was out before the year 2000. So that's how long they've been working on creating the synthetic cell, which actually spun out of control 5 years ago. And now back to this. Here we go. Let her keep talking. And I'm going to get me an Alexa. I should go ahead and intertwine with Metaverse, huh?
Scientists at JCVI constructed the first cell with a synthetic genome in 2010. They didn't build that cell completely from scratch. Instead, they started with cells from a very simple type of bacteria called a mycoplasma. They destroyed the DNA in those cells and replaced it with DNA that was designed on a computer and synthesized in a lab. This was the first organism in the history of life on Earth to have an entirely synthetic genome. They called it JCVI Syn 1.0. Since then, scientists have been working to strip that organism down to its minimum genetic components. The super simple cell they created 5 years ago, dubbed JCVI Syn 3.0, was perhaps too minimalist. The researchers have now added 19 genes back to this cell, including the 7 needed for normal cell division, to create the new variant, JCVI Syn 3A. This variant has fewer than 500 genes. To put that number in perspective, the E. coli bacteria that live in your gut have about 4,000 genes. A human cell has around 30,000. We want to understand the fundamental design rules of life. If this cell can help us to discover and understand those rules, then we're off to the races.
Off to the races.
Elizabeth Strakowski, a co-author on the study and leader of NIST's cellular engineering group. Identifying those 7 additional genes took years of painstaking effort by JCVI's synthetic biology group, led by co-author John Glass. Co-lead author and JCVI scientist Lja Sun constructed dozens of variant strains by systematically adding and removing genes. She and the other researchers would then observe how those genetic changes affected cell growth and division. His role was to measure the resulting changes under a microscope. This was a challenge because the cells had to be alive for observation. Using powerful microscopes to observe dead cells is relatively easy. Imaging live cells is much harder. Holding these cells in place under a microscope was particularly difficult because they are so small and delicate. 100 or more would fit inside a single E. coli bacterium. Tiny forces can tear them apart. To solve this problem, Strakowski and MIT co-authors James Pelletier, Andreas Merschin and Neil Gershenfeld designed a microfluidic chemostat, a sort of mini aquarium where the cells could be kept fed and happy under a light microscope. The result was stop-motion video that showed the synthetic cells growing and dividing. This video shows JCVI Syn 3.0 cells, the ones created 5 years ago, dividing into different shapes and sizes. Some of the cells form filaments. Others appear to not fully separate and line up like beads on a string. Despite the variety, all these cells are genetically identical. This video shows the new JCVI Syn 3A cells dividing into cells of more uniform shape, and JCVI cells move and divide as beads within a hexagon-shaped form.
Okay, stop right there. Now, here's the next of these cells turning into beads. I just wanted to expound a little bit on beads. You know, of almost every religion, you know, end up having some type of or form of beads. So this is why I broke into the format and interjected what beads mean. So the GBC1 does move and divide as beads within a hexagon form shape. Here we go.
Please don't let me be misunderstood. Please don't let me be misunderstood.
me what's the master teacher? Somebody that's gonna always try to reach ya. And as I do it, I'm just hoping it's all good. Just please don't let me be misunderstood, cause that's not what I'm planning. I'm just trying to raise your level of overstanding. I've been through so much throughout my childhood. Just how can I teach the people? I keep telling myself, you know, they religion. I need to tell them that religion is falsehood. Just damn, look at all the old. I'ma walk them through every single school of thought, breaking down the origin and language, and you know I could.
We're going into the 400th year. We're starting to align back in with the universe. You understand? No, no. Say no. Say no, I don't understand. I overstand now. I was understanding for too long. Now I overstand. It's time. It's a wake-up time. It is time to wake up, shake it. You can go against anybody with what I've been teaching you. And I'm not asking you to like me, like the teachers. You can go against anybody. You can stand and hold your own against anybody, and most of y'all have tried it. You know it.
Hey, what can I really take them? I'ma give them their own land, own nation. It's gonna be Africa in America. Better than college because I give them right knowledge, and all the haters can't stand it. The best doctrine on the planet. Rumors being spread ain't really sounding good. Just if you a positive leader, the government they don't like you, and your own people hating, some of them wanna fight you. Yo, CIA, they'll kill you if they could. So they locked me in jail, and they hoping that I doubt that my own people, own nation gonna get me out. But I'm still giving information knowing that I could.
We're going into the 400th year. We're starting to align back in with the universe. You understand? No. Say no. Say no, I don't understand. I overstand now. I was understanding. It's time. It's wake up time. It is time to wake up, shake it. You can go against anybody with what I've been teaching you. And I'm not asking you to like me, like the teachers. You can go against anybody. You can stand and hold your own against anybody, and most of y'all have tried it.
I want to spill something on you. We're coming out of Zechariah. We're dealing with the flying roll. You know, this year, 2023, is the year that the vortex opens back up. Every 10 years since 1943, when they conducted and did the experiment called the Philadelphia experiment, which happened in Philadelphia. That's why most Philadelphians is a little thrown off, because of something that was in the water from the vortex and the, you know, the different dimensions that was opened up from them splitting these atom molecules. That's why Philadelphians is considered crazy. I'm from Philly. You see what the brother Meek Mill did, Robert Williams, Meek Mill. You see what he did when he came to Ghana. He acted like a total fool. He made Ghana look weak. You see, he made the security system look weak. He shot a whole video. He was so uncouth, so arrogant, no morality, no humility. Came here and shot a stupid video inside the Jubilee House and talking about all kind of criminal activities within his rhymes, within his rhyme scheme, within his bars, and had nothing to do with the meeting with the president. He made a fool of himself. He made America look bad. He made Ghana look bad. He made African Americans look terrible by what he did. You know, this is why a lot of Africans, when we look at African Americans, they say, "Oh, you ain't African American." That's why they call us Black Americans, because we lost our culture, we lost our language, we lost our identity. You see, but your culture is given back with the true religion, the true way of life, the true faith, which is holiness. That is the true culture. You see, that is what the Most High God recognizes. As he says in Leviticus 19:1-2, he said, "Be ye holy, for I am holy." Speak to the congregation and tell them to be holy, for I am holy. He ain't say be Jehovah's Witness. He ain't say be or be Pentecostal or be African Methodist or Mormon or Seventh-day Adventist. You see, he said, "Be ye holy." You know, be holy. Holiness is the way of the Lord, the Most High. You see, but in 2023, don't be surprised when there are a lot of sightings of UFOs, unidentified flying objects. There have been sightings all across America in the recent days coming into 2023. I've seen sightings in Ghana. I've seen sightings in Philadelphia in 2009 and 2013. I've seen the Crystal City. I've seen the New Jerusalem, the same one that the prophet John saw. I've seen the September 17th, 2009 and September 20th, 2013. The same exact vehicle, the size of a football stadium, emerald green in color, radiating green and gold and marvelous, precious stones, just like it describes it in Revelations chapter 21. So this particular chapter of Zechariah, this particular chapter is called the flying roll. And it starts, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll." On May 10th, 2021, I seen a flying roll in the mountains of Aubrey in the eastern region of Ghana. You see? I've seen it. So these are real. And this is the year that the government will have no choice but to come clean and make it known about these unidentified flying objects or identified flying objects, these flying saucers, these crafts, as this is the year that the vortex opens. So there will be many sightings. There will be many different entities that's coming through these other dimensions. As I said, the vortex has been opening since 1943, 1963, 1973, 1983, 1993, 2003, 2013, 2023. This is the year that the vortex opens back up. It will open up in the spring, which is really the new year. It will open up in March. Save the date, March 18th, 2023. Save the date. And it will close back up in September. You see? So the vortex will open and it will close. It will open for about 6 months. Chapter 5, verse 1. "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll." This is the prophet Zechariah. "He said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he," verse 3, "then said he," so he's given a description. You see, he's describing it in verse 2. He says, "And he said unto me, What seest thou? And he said unto me, What seest thou?" I got a song that I just wrote. It's going to be on the next project, Inkpen Guardian Volume 12. I don't want to reveal the title yet, the subtitle, but it's coming. It will be coming this year. It's already being recorded, being lined up for this project. Verse 2, "And he said unto me, What seest thou? I answered, I see a flying roll." He's talking about a UFO. He's talking about a flying saucer. "Then, the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me," verse 3, "Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on his side according to it, and every one that sweareth, cursing, shall be cut off as on that side according to it. So this flying roll or this flying saucer or this flying object, whole purpose is to bring about destruction on the earth. Like when those flying saucers go over America and start wreaking havoc, the 5 major cities of America over Babylon, the 5 cities will be utterly destroyed. You have New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Chicago, and Philadelphia. These 5 major cities of Babylon, of America, will be destroyed. There will be UFOs. There will be flying rolls destroying the cities the same way Sodom and Gomorrah was torched with fire and brimstone. It will be utterly destroyed. And it says they go forth over the face of the whole earth. Have you seen it? Verse 3. Verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with timber. All those wooden houses will burn up at the command of the Most High God, Jehovah El Elyon. These crafts, these orbs, these flying orbs will go over certain houses of certain wicked people and start destroying utterly these people inside of their homes. Verse 4, I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. Don't play with the Lord. Don't play with the name of God. Stop doing that. All you swearing and you got jokes, you know, involving the Lord. The one that you don't joke with, you don't joke with God. All you comedians, all you making a mockery of God, God cannot be mocked. You will play yourself. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. In 2012, I remember I was inside my bedroom, lying in the bed with my wife, and we saw a bright light outside of the house on 73rd. 1967 73rd Avenue in Philadelphia in the West Oak Lane section of the city. And I seen a bright light like the moon was moving outside. And I raised the blind of the window to look to see what it was. And I seen an orb. I seen a flying orb with some type of creature driving the orb, flying over the house. And this was during the time that Mitt Romney was running for office. You see? This was during that time. This was December 21st, 2012. December 21st, 2012. I seen an orb, and I seen a man-like creature inside of the orb, flying the orb, and it went right over the roof. And it scared the bejesus out of me. You know what I'm saying? I felt the chills come. I felt it. The hairs on my body was rising. You see, I knew this was something strange. Just like it says in verse 4, it says, "I will bring it forth." My spouse is my witness. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts. That was December 21st, 2012. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. So those houses made out of brick, stone, and timber wood is going to be destroyed. People will be getting destroyed in their house. They will get burnt up inside of their house when these flying rolls come to destroy those that steal and those that curse and those that do detestable and abominable things. They will be utterly destroyed with these flying saucers or these flying rolls at the command of the Most High God. This is today's sermon. This is the sermon for the day, the flying roll. And I also want to give you an article that I came across. United States latest UFO footage comes from active battle zone. A new UFO snapshot has started to go viral online because of its interesting time of its capture. In 2016, forces with the Iraqi government launched a campaign to remove ISIL fighters from the city of Mosul, Mosul. It was during this time the United States military reportedly captured footage of an orb flying above the city. Just like the orb I've seen. It was a man-like creature flying inside the orb. And it was like red and blue lights going around the orb real fast like electricity. It was during this time the United States military reportedly captured footage of an orb flying above the city. Tuesday, filmmaker Jeremy Corbell released a still from the clip in question. U.S. military film UFO from an active conflict zone, officially designated by the U.S. government and intelligence agencies as a UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomenon, and currently part of the active UAP investigations under the U.S. DOD, Corbell said in his first tweet. You see? This is Jeremy Corbell. This is what he said on Twitter, and he shows a picture. This is January 24th, 2023, that he tweeted this out, 7:59 a.m. in the morning, and it got over 3,000 likes. Corbell and journalist George Knapp, Knapp, launched a new podcast titled Weaponized on Tuesday, taking a deep dive and discussion on the increasingly serious topic. This is in the UFO category within our intelligence community. This is an example of one of the UFOs that our military and intelligence community is looking at. It's just one of many images Corbell said on the podcast. You see everybody doing the podcast. The image, which has yet to be confirmed as authentic by the United States Department of Defense, comes just weeks after the intelligence community filed its annual UFO UAP report with lawmakers. As part of that report, the DOD ruled that 171 of its 366 sightings, UFO sightings, required more investigation as officials were unable to confirm the identity of the crafts. Analyzing and understanding the potential threats posed by the UAP is an ongoing collaborative effort involving many departments and agencies. And the department thanks the Office of the Director of National Intelligence for leading a collaborative effort to produce this report, as well as the other contributing departments and agencies. Pentagon spokesperson General Pat Ryder offered in a statement shortly after the report release. He added, the safety of our service personnel, our bases and installations, and the protection of the U.S. operations security on land and the skies, seas, and space are paramount. We take reports of incursions into our designated space, land, sea, and air spaces seriously and examine each one. I never heard them examine the ones that I reported about the New Jerusalem. I guess they left that one alone. The one that me and my wife and my children and my neighbors in Philadelphia and West Oakland on 1967 73rd Avenue, we spotted broad daylight in 2015, September 20th. And that was my second time seeing it. The size of a football stadium, Lincoln Financial Stadium in Philadelphia, bigger than the football stadium of Philadelphia. What's the word? The color that it gave off was like, it was like amity, green light. Green light. You could see that it was precious stones on the outer layer of the vehicle. So these things are real. Even from the scripture to people making reports, you can't hide. It cannot be hidden. It's coming out. It's 2023. And in 2024, April 8th, there will be another solar eclipse over Philadelphia, which will make an X over Philadelphia from the first one that was in, what was that? 2017, the Great American Solar Eclipse. There will be another solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024. So this is the vortex opens 2023, and in 2024, there will be another solar eclipse, which will go over Philadelphia, New Jersey, and New York. I want to spill that on you so you can't wipe it off. So you know what time it is. Like Flavor Flav, you got to know what time it is. You don't need a watch to know what time it is, okay? And we'll close out. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling and present you faultless with the presence of his glory with exceeding joy, to the only wise God, our Savior, be glory, power, dominion, and majesty, both now and forever. As the people of God say, amen, amen, and amen. So